All right, so if you watched my first video, you know that one of the things that I talked about was the elephant in the room and the blockchain thing, and I said, let's just take that and set it over to the side. Well, today we're going to talk about that, but it's going to be brief and not quite what you think. And then, of course, we're also going to be talking about the title of the video, not clickbait, how you start playing this game. What's it look like at the very start of this game and what you're going to be able to do. So let's dive right into it. We're back on the website again, and I just want to make sure that people understand how to actually get into the playtest 4. This is open to everyone, and there's been a little bit of back and forth on the main Discord about some of the issues that people are having. So I just want to walk through the basics of that real fast before we get into the two main things, one being the blockchain thing, which I think is the elephant in the room that keeps being talked about. And I think we're going to lay it to rest pretty fast here today, and then move right into how you actually start playing this game and what you're going to be able to do at the beginning. And that's all what we know so far. There'll be a little bit of my speculation thrown on top of it, but really I'm just going to be covering the game start as we know it according to their own documentation. So first and foremost, to be able to get access for the upcoming playtest on the 27th of September, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it only lasts like 10 days. Someone could tell me in the comments. But I think it's only a 10-day playtest, so it's pretty short. I thought I saw October 10th or something or whatever. Whatever. It seems pretty short as far as when it closes. You hit this login right here up at the top. You can see where I'm kind of highlighting it up at the top. You can't really see my cursor, which I should probably turn that on. I could probably do that real quick if I thought about it for a second. Let's go over here and click this, and let's say, nope, I can't do that on there. It doesn't say, it says capture cursor. Interesting. I don't know why OBS doesn't show the cursor over on the screen. It doesn't matter. You can see where I'm saying login right here. Okay, I'm highlighting in the upper right-hand corner. Once you've done that, I'll go ahead and hit that. Log in. Boom. I'm already logged in. Here we are. You can see, I'm Taylor Rick 001. 0001. Already in for playtest 4, got 300 raffle tickets. So once you get in and you verify your email address, you're not going to have any raffle tickets and you're not going to have this access yet. To get those and to sign up to win these prizes they're giving away, you can just go right down to claim access. Now for me, it's just going to say I'm already in. Oh yeah, it does say 27th to the 7th. So that's pretty short. 10 days worth of playing. It's pretty short. You can make sure you set some time aside. There's going to be a lot here. And that's kind of what the map looks like in game from what I've been seeing so far too in some of this information. So kind of odd. Anyway, we're 11 days, 5 hours, 25 minutes away from it. On this screen, you'll see things like this. And you can see this is how I've claimed it. I claimed it by just liking their YouTube channel and subscribing. And I thought I did something else because I got 300 raffle tickets. So I've done 2 other things. I don't know why they don't show up here. It's a little clunky. But that's it. Only doing one of those. Just going, subscribing, and liking their YouTube video. And they'll give you a link here when you click on this. That'll allow you to claim it. You'll come back over here, and you'll see that you have access to this. But then the next thing you need to do is come over here to where it says connect right here. Now you can see my cursor. That's funny. Come over here to where you say connect. From connect, you can come down and do your... Oh, here's where the other one was. I don't know why. There it is. But you go to their Discord, right? And so when I'm doing it right now, I go to Discord and I say connect and I go through, all the stuff, boom, 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 authorize, and I get this. So I don't actually have full access yet. And if you get that, you don't either. Go and create a support ticket on the Discord channel and that will fix you up right away. Well, it's been 3 days, so I don't say right away for me, but I'm pretty sure it'll come a quick because all of my stuff was over the weekend. This is a Sunday night. I think I started it like Friday sometime, so kind of over the weekend for support to be getting to it. But I'm sure we got plenty of time. It's only the 15th, so we got 12 days, or whatever that countdown said, 11 days. So all good. That's the easy, fast, quick getting yourself onto Discord. That part's taken out of the way. Now let's talk about this whole blockchain stuff, right? If we go over here and we go to the white paper. There's a lot of information here, like I said in the first video, so there's a lot to really go over. But let's just go over here and do a quick search for ERC20, because that's the blockchain that this is based off of. Token standards, ERC20, ERC721, and beyond. And here's the line I want everybody to kind of think about with this said. I think it's this one right here. While operating inside the game client, virtual currencies and singleton follow a slightly different standard to interact with any game object rather than a blockchain address. So when it's in the game, when you're actually in the game and playing the game, you are not actually on the blockchain. Those digital assets in the game are not actually on the blockchain. They're just in the game, but they're based on that standard. And it says, as a result, they are not technically ERC20 and ERC721, but they are functionally identical and can port over to those standards with a single transaction. This is how they're getting around the whole issue of if you have a digital asset that's on the blockchain, you now have capital gains tax and all this other crazy rabbit hole stuff that everybody's getting all crazy and worked up over. If you're just playing this game, none of this blockchain stuff in terms of legality, taxes, cash, real money, or your standards or laws or regulations around blockchain inside your country, they don't matter. They don't mean anything if you're just playing the game. It's when you go to want to transfer assets out of the game and then they get put on the blockchain that then we get into that little bit of a sticky gray area. And I don't know where we go from there, but I can just tell you, if you're just going to get onto this game and have fun and play it, you got nothing to worry about when it comes to the blockchain. Now, let's move on to what we're really here to talk about, which is what does this game look like when you first start? We're going to go and look at the ship architecture. This is actually the ship you start with, and it has a name as well. And it's actually over here. If you go into media and you come down here to the media, it's this thing right here. I just downloaded it like for the 15th time because I keep forgetting this doesn't pull anything up. It's the Exclave frigate, or it's the mining frigate, actually. I keep getting confused. It could be one of these two, depending upon how you start, is your starter. But both of these, either one of these, probably the mining frigate, honestly. That might actually be an upgrade. I think this is, I know I read this somewhere, and I can't find it now. Maybe they took it down or changed it or changed the verbiage to hide things. But I know I read somewhere that this thing was the starter ship. So maybe the mining frigate is your upgrade. But irregardless, everything that they talk about in this game revolves around fuel. Fuel is your lifeblood. If you run out of fuel, you're dead. You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. You can't activate anything. You're dead in space. And you are primarily in your space, in your ship. And it says players will interact with the world primarily through their spaceship. Okay? So kind of like EVE Online, kind of like EVE Echoes, you are going to start in a ship. It's reading through all of this, it's really hard to say whether or not that ship is docked. I kind of have a feeling you're not going to be docked. This is my speculation part here. I kind of have a feeling you're not going to be docked, which still doesn't make sense to me. Like, it makes more sense if you're docked somehow, or you actually start in a pod and they give you the ship, this first ship, this Exclave frigate. But there's no actual like NPCs or Empire space. That much is for sure. So who's really controlling that? Is it just a leftover AI at an NPC station? I don't know. But what I do know is what they kind of state here, and this is how we actually start the game. So if you just go into this white paper and do search for ship, you're going to find the exact same thing I'm looking at here. And they give you the basics of how these ships are operated. And they also talk about fuel as well. So there's two essential modules. The most fundamental modules are the ones that drive the networks. These are the power core module for electrical power and the central processing unit module for processing power, respectively. The capacitor of these two modules plays the most critical role in determining which other of the modules can be equipped into a ship or integrated, as well as the amount of heat generated by the system. Their performance directly shapes the ship's capabilities and limitations. Think about that for a minute, as well as the amount of heat generated by the system. So you're going to have to get rid of excess heat. Remember, they talked about physics being a driving factor in the game. So I imagine these ships are going to be sliding around. There's none of this. I turned my micro warp drive off and I stopped. I think we're going to be like almost like it's water, right? I always looked back at EVE Online and thought the physics of the game made it feel to me more like you were in a liquid, not space. In this case, though, they make it very clear that everything has a real physics engine involved with it. So you are going to be acting like you are in space. And you turn your afterburner off or your micro warp drive off or whatever we have, because we don't know on this part what we have in terms of speed for these things. You're just going to keep drifting until you go another direction, i.e., you better have some fuel. And fuel conservation is a thing. I can imagine gravity being a thing too, and you having an issue with trying to go to a planet, but we'll see how far they go with it. So the power core module and the central processing unit, we could break this down even more if we wanted to, but you can really read this when you get to the white paper, just search and read that in depth. But the key part of this that I wanted to go over is you are starting with a small starter ship, and that small starter ship, I can go back over here to ship, because you have to jump around to put this together a little bit. Starts with, from the very beginning of the game, players are tasked with rebuilding the world from the ground up. This happens in client with features like reconstructing the Stargate network of the galaxy, building out supporting infrastructure, developing and customizing new ships, creating new social structures, yada, yada, yada. I think this is probably the page where it shows, or somewhere where it talks about the ship you're starting with. But the key point I'm getting to is lenses. This starter ship that you're in, and this is under Quest for Fuel on the white paper. This starter ship that you're in gives you a lens and a catalyst, all right? And so everything in the universe requires fuel to operate. Acquiring fuel is a task in and of itself. They've designed this around the fact that the fact that you have to constantly acquire and burn fuel is what's going to help keep the RMT side of things down. Even though they've kind of legalized it, it's going to be very difficult for people to bot the whole system, right? In terms of because of how they're doing this fuel. Now, it remains to be seen how accurate that really is. However, fuel is created by using a catalyst. This is where I say lens and catalysts to refine crude matter. So you got to go and find these crude matters. They're in things called rifts. And you go to mine that, and you have specialized lenses outfitted to your ship. The lens and catalyst both break down over time, so replacements will be necessary. So you start with a brand new ship. You have a lens and a catalyst already on that ship. And you got to go out and find the rifts to mine the crude matter in order to generate fuel to be able to do anything else. You've got to have a stockpile of fuel. It doesn't matter what you're going to be doing, if you're going to be doing, if there's ratting in the game, if maybe there's not ratting in the game. It kind of sounds to me with the way some of this works that we have to put that ratting into the game ourselves in some way, shape, or form. Some sort of mission runner built out of a container. When you get into smart containers, it actually breaks that down as a possibility. So who knows what kind of content is really going to be in this playtest. That gets into the speculative side. Let's get back down into what we know for sure. What we know for sure is you have this exclave frigate that you're going to start with. It's going to have a lens and a catalyst that you're given. You'll be able to buy more lenses and catalysts as they break down using tokens. However you receive those tokens, how those compare with Lux, we don't know. But it does state that in this documentation. And those will break down. I don't know how long they break down. I don't know what kind of time frame we're talking about. It even says right here, fuel will always have value of some kind denominated in EVE tokens. The ability to control the lens catalyst to the EVE token exchange rate will be transferred to the player over time as the economy matures. So at the beginning, you're going to be using tokens to get that. You can buy tokens with Lux that you earn in-game for missions, I guess. I don't know how you're going to be earning money specifically. However, we do know that those are the two things you're going to need right off the bat. They're going to break down. You're going to have to buy more, and you need to acquire fuel. That is how this game is going to start. You're going to start in your starter ship. You're going to be given the lens and catalyst, and you're going to have to mine your ass off. So, which, I don't know, for me sounds fantastic because I really hope that the lens and catalyst, when you're shooting the crude matter and it breaks it apart in a rift, I hope that does some sort of damage to somebody else's exclave frigate or mining frigate as well, because then I can just go blow their shit up and take their crude matter and fuel. And instead of wasting my time mining all of it, I can just take what they've mined. That's kind of fun. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know how that part of it's going to work. That's more of a breakdown for once we get the actual playtest going and we can see how the whole thing works. But that's it in a nutshell. Quick little video today just going over the start of the game. And I wanted to make sure we addressed the blockchain thing because it's just this constant conversation over on the Discord, and it doesn't have to be. Make sure, if you didn't quite get it the first time you watched the beginning of this video, make sure you get your access. Make sure you have your Discord account tied into your login to the website. It's just efrontier.com. I'm looking forward to playing this game along with all of you. We're going to be setting up, I'm going to be setting up a tribe. I don't think we're going to need a syndicate. Tribes are corporations. Syndicates are alliances. I don't think we're going to need a syndicate right off the bat. It is only a 10-day play test, but you are certainly going to be setting up a tribe. And for those of you that qualify for it, you'll be invited to it and asked to join. That Discord should be up in just a few days. So be looking for that as well. I'll post that over in the official Discord channel along with everything else that I do. Any questions, let me know. I'll see you on September 27th.